Welcome to Biz Alchemy, a podcast about creating a new business paradigm by women, for women. I'm your alchemical host, Jacquelyn, and I'm going to take you on an extraordinary adventure to create a business filled with ease, fun, spaciousness, and abundance. Hustle, be gone. Let's birth a new way. Hello. I am feeling full of energy today. Today, I've done the lighthouse walk before I came back home to record this episode. Usually, as you know, I do a beach walk, but I just felt like getting my heart rate up this morning. Must be the topic that I'm talking about today, since we're getting into the heart. But it was so nice. And for those of you who know Byron Bay, the lighthouse here is iconic. And there's a beautiful walk where you go through bush around the coast and up to the lighthouse. And it's just beautiful. And the last section I'm walking along the beach, which helps ground me. So I still get my bit of beach time in, shoes off. Usually I'll swim, but the water's been a bit murky since the floods because so many rivers flow into the ocean from this area. So no, I didn't swim today. Anyway, it was a great way to start the day. I feel incredibly vitalized. And I'm ready to share with you a little bit about the heart of niching, a very popular topic. But before I do, just a reminder, this will be the last episode before my equinox balance retreat, which is on Monday, the 21st of March. So here's your final reminder. If you'd like to join me in the retreat, go to the homepage of my website, jacquelynatkins.com. You'll see the link there, or else I will include the link in the show notes. Last week, I talked about the cycles and honoring the equinox, honoring the seasons in your life and in your business is an integral part of bringing balance to the yin and yang in your business. So this is what we are doing in this retreat. The equinox is the balance of night and day, yin and yang. And so we will be exploring your business's energy body, your energy body, and embodying more or activating more of the yin energy. So you've got a lovely harmony between the yin and the yang, the feminine and the masculine. So it will be just a mini retreat. It's just for a couple of hours, but it will be a beautiful time for you to go in and to reset the energy flow between the yin and yang. So I'd love it if you can join me. It's $11. If you can't be there live, that is fine. You will get a recording sent out within a few hours, most likely, but definitely within 24 hours, you will receive the recording. So on to the heart of niching. In fact, this really ties in with that topic of the equinox balance retreat about this harmony between the yin and yang. And the reason I love to call it the heart of niching is because your niche is in your heart. But so often we create our niche from our mind. And I see it time and time again when people come to have one-to-one sessions with me and they're uncertain about their niche. They're uncertain about their audience. Who are they speaking to? What direction do they want to take in their business? What focus do they want to have in their message? Now, I'm not going to get into niching as such. It's not really my thing. I don't consider myself a business coach or a marketing coach, but I do consider myself an energy coach, and I do understand the energy of business. And I do understand that the niche is birthed in your heart chakra, but not many coaches will take you there. So let me just share my niching story with you. I began my business 4.5 years ago now, and I began as a coach. I actually created my business because Mark, my partner, is in Europe and I'm in Australia. And at the time, I was traveling a lot between Europe and Australia, and I was no longer able to do, or it was very difficult to do a job where I only got so much annual leave a year because I wanted to spend more time over in Europe with Mark. So I realized that the only thing I could do was to create an online business so that I could work there, and as well as working when I was back home in Australia. And so I studied coaching, and after I'd finished the coaching, I think about 6 months later, I was sort of struggling, didn't really have clients. I actually did cleaning work when I was at the beginning stages of my business. I'd given up my physiotherapy work and I was doing cleaning because I could just drop those jobs when I went to Europe and come back. So I never went fully into business. I was doing that on the side and hard work too, and lots of hours of it to support myself while I was setting my business up. But yeah, minimal clients those first few months. They tended to be people who knew me from my energy healing days, a decade before. Anyway, I did start a mastermind probably 4 or 5 months after finishing my coaching. And it was a 6-month mastermind. And I remember the woman that ran the mastermind said, just pick a niche, any niche. It doesn't matter. You've just got to get started. I mean, I get where she was coming from, but it was so wrong because you just went straight into your mind. Oh my God, I've got to find a niche. I've got to find a niche. Now, what happened is I had a friend in the States. I had met her in Europe. Mark and I were in Assisi in Italy for my 50th birthday, and I met this lady there, and we'd stayed in touch, and she had lost her husband. So she started doing some coaching with me. I enjoyed the work I did with her, and it was only I think, a couple of sessions, but I enjoyed it. And she had a really positive response to it. And then she talked about, oh my gosh, I know so many people. I'm in a support group. There are so many people who could get some benefits from what you do. And then meantime, I had this other coach going, pick a niche, any niche. And I'm like, okay, I will pick that niche. That's how I will start. So I thought, great, that's what I'll do. I'll pick that niche. I'll start with that. And this coach had said, email everyone on your list, tell them this is who you're working with, if anyone knows of anyone. So I sent that email out to everyone I knew, family as well as personal friends. I just had a personal Facebook profile at that point, put it on there, and crickets. The interesting thing about that, and this is what I want to share, and what I realized the more I've gone into niching coming from the heart, is that I could not have talked about that topic for very long. I could have talked about how coaching supported you, but I couldn't talk about the topic because I didn't have direct experience of that topic. I had, my dad died when I was a kid, I could relate that way, but I had never had a partner die. So I couldn't talk to that. So I think I sort of tried to hang on to that for another couple of months into the mastermind. And then just towards the end of the mastermind anyway was when I realized about incorporating my energy work into my coaching. And so obviously then that changed everything for me and took me in a whole new direction. But again, I was still wandering in the dark a little bit in that I was trying to sell my tool as the niche in a way. And, so the fact I was doing the energy clearing and so on, I was selling that just like before I'd been selling the coaching. Even though I picked that audience to speak to for a short time, but that didn't work for long. And then I was just focused on the coaching. So I was focusing on the tool to sell. And then when I shifted to the energy and thought, oh, okay, I want to include more energy, again, I was focusing on the tool. So that's that situation where you're speaking to everyone and speaking to no one. And it was only when I became involved in Facebook groups and particularly Tash Corbin's Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs group, and got to know Tash a little bit better and understand niching a bit more from her perspective. And I had access to all these amazing entrepreneurs in her group. And I started to put out there a little bit more about the chakras. And I still remember one day I did a poll and I asked, which chakra do you feel is most blocked in your business? You can choose more than one, and listed the chakras. Every single person who voted in that poll, wasn't a huge amount, but every single person who did chose the throat chakra. And so that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to speak to the throat chakra. And as I thought about it, I thought, well, that makes so much sense because actually that is my area. That's where I'm compromised also. I can speak well in this sort of situation, but my throat does close down in confrontation, which, that's also tied in with the solar plexus and the base chakra with feeling safe and secure. But I just knew it was my vulnerable area. I'm a Taurus. The throat is sort of like the area for a Taurus as well. it can be a powerful area, but can also be a vulnerable area. And I do get a lot of neck stuff. I get headaches from the neck. Like, that's my area. And so when this came back in this poll, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I get that. I can speak to that. Now, here at this point, I'm still coming from the head, but I was starting to relate to what was being reflected back to me. They were just like different steps on my path that was slowly opening up my path for me. And so I did. I began to speak to the throat chakra. I offered free 15-minute throat chakra clearings, and that built my audience. Just through doing that over 6 to 12 months, I built my audience. I was a female entrepreneur. I had this audience of female entrepreneurs. I understood their journey. I understood the invisibility cloak. I understood the imposter syndrome. I understood the fear of doing Facebook Lives. I understood lack of clarity around message and what to share. Like, I understood it. I was on the journey. So I could speak to that journey till the cows came home because I got it. It came from my heart. It was my experience, my life, my essence being expressed. This is where your niche must come from. You must be able to talk about it all day. Again, notice it's not about the tools I'm using. It's about the problems and how that can be shifted. Now, I know you hear this all the time, but it's true. And I'm going to do another podcast episode sometime on using your tools to market yourself because it doesn't work. The tools are tools. That is it. You are the thing. You are what people are wanting. And your experience when it comes from your heart reveals more of you. So from there, the more I worked with female entrepreneurs and their energy body, and by now I wasn't coaching at all. All my sessions were energetic clearing type sessions and clairvoyant readings. By then, once I became really proficient at doing that, now I had been an energy healer for 20 years, so it wasn't new to me, but it was new in this context. And then I had the inspiration about, well, hang on, a business must have an energy body. So launched myself into that and began exploring that and working with the energy body of businesses. And then, of course, that then led into the journey of where I am now, where I'm talking about the energy of business, but especially this new business paradigm, as I called it. This embracing of the yin in business, the bringing the harmony between the yin and the yang. Again, this was based on my experience. I was going through this. I was finding a new way to be in business. I'd been using the older model, even though it had a few twists to make it not quite as yang, I suppose, but it was still that model. I'd been using that. And it wasn't working for me. I ended up unwell, and that really opened the door, if you like, for talking and sharing more and experiencing this harmonizing of the yin and yang in business. And so, again, it's the same thing. Like, my niche has evolved, but I can talk about this nonstop, obviously, because I get on here every week and share a podcast episode about it. I do 2 Insight Timer lives a week where I am talking about it. I have my tribe, Biz Alchemy Playground, where I'm talking about it. I'm talking about it all the time. Every time I write a newsletter, I'm talking about it. So obviously, it's like the perfect niche for me, because I'm experiencing it, I understand it, I'm continuously learning about this, and so I can talk to it all day, every day. That's coming from my heart. You can tell it's coming from my heart. And that's what attracts you to me and my message and my business. If I had a mentally created niche, you wouldn't be here listening. There'd be no joy, there'd be no vibrancy, there'd be no connection because the authenticity wouldn't be there. And the thing is, finding that niche isn't so far away. Like, you've got it. It's already in you. At some level, you do know it. And, when I'm reading an energy body, I will often explain, in your energy body is everything that's ever happened to you. I don't see all that. What I see is what you are ready to show me, because you want me to voice something that you know is sort of there, but you're not quite grounding it. You're not pulling it in. And when I share with you, well, this is what I'm seeing, so often my clients will go, oh yeah, I sort of knew that, but they just hadn't grounded it, or they hadn't believed it enough, and they just needed that confirmation. And that's what I find when I get a little bit of clarification about a niche from someone's energy body. Or it won't come through necessarily as your niche is, but it'll come through like, wow, your business is showing me, this type of work or this type of client, or how does that make you feel? And very often I just pick up in the words of the person having the session that, oh my gosh, that's exactly what they love. That lights them up. But they never thought about that as a niche, or never thought about speaking particularly to that. The answer is in your heart chakra. The answer is in your business's heart chakra. And this is partly why the Equinox Balance Retreat is so important, because it's enabling you to go within. Now, when I say the heart chakra has a yang aspect as well, but the yin aspect of the heart chakra is this going in, this connecting to your truth, connecting to your essence, and bringing that into some sort of harmony with the overactive yang mind. The other thing to remember is your niche does evolve. That's why I wanted to share my story with you. My niche has evolved and will probably continue to evolve, and I don't hang on to things. I don't think, well, this is who I'm talking to right now. This is what my message is about, and I'm going to stay with that. It changes. As I've been playing with it already this year, because I've been talking more about the receiving energy and the yin energy of receiving, which is an extension of what I've been talking about. But I have a sense that my work is going to move more and more into that. It doesn't necessarily mean it'll change from what it is now, but maybe over time I'll suddenly find, well, hang on, suddenly I'm speaking to this more. And I'm okay with that. I like change. I'm happy with that. So your niche evolves because you evolve, you grow, your experiences change. And so that's why your niche also changes. So as I mentioned before, if you're ready for a bit more yin time, join me in the retreat on Monday, the 21st of March, and actually talking about the heart of niching. I'm going to also talk about the heart of business just briefly. The heart of business is a mentorship I offered last year, and I am offering it again twice this year, but it's now become part of my Biz Alchemy playground, which is my tribe. That's my group program. So I will be offering it for the first time this year, starting from the beginning of April. I'll chat more about it next week, but just to let you know that everything I've been talking today about the heart of niching and really finding your unique path, your unique way of being in business, your unique niche, your unique way and method of sharing and talking to that niche. This will be in the heart of business. So as I mentioned, I'll talk about that more next week. I just wanted to drop that in here because it is very connected in with the heart of niching. In fact, having an intuitively led business, which is what I talk about in the heart of business, it is about creating and being in your business led by the heart chakra. It's beautiful and it's aligned. And this is what makes business easy. This is what makes it fun. This is what makes it spacious. This is what fills you with joy and enables you to be of service from that really full, abundant space. So I hope to see you at the retreat next week. Until next time, have an alchemical week in your biz. Thanks for listening to Biz Alchemy. I'm Jacquelyn Atkins. If you'd love to know more about the energy of business, subscribe to my newsletter at jacquelynatkins.com/newsletter and join me on Insight Timer, where I have a large meditation library and do regular live classes. Until next time, enjoy creating alchemy in your biz.